Alrighty, welcome back to Trailmakers, and we're finally finishing off the Darth Vader's TIE Advanced X1 tutorial. I actually haven't checked how long both of the other tutorial videos were, but I hope I kept them within 15 minutes. I kinda doubt it, honestly. But yeah, today we are going... So, now you have your Darth Vader's TIE Advanced X1 all put together. Doesn't it look nice? But when you spawn it in, it has to look like this, remember? Imagine if it just stayed in the default position. But yeah, you want it to look like this, right? Look at this. Doesn't that and you want it to shoot like this in the burst fire mode, right? You want it to have both a burst fire and a single fire mode, right? You want that? Well, I'll show you how to do that. And we're going to start with that, we're actually going to start with the wings. So, if you remember that NOR logic gate that you have in here, well, you're going to want to connect that to each of the hinges in the wings. This will definitely be the shortest of the videos, mainly because, you know, there's actually not a lot of controls to cover. Everything really just, you know, does its own thing on its own. So, yeah. So, yeah, you want to connect that NOR logic gate that's right under your go-kart seat to all the wings. And those will actually keep the wings bent even if you get hit by EMPs, or at least they'll freak out and go back to their normal position. So you don't really have to worry. So then, yeah, so that's that. Now we're going to move on to the XOR logic gates. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. I'm actually going to, just so it's easier so you can tell them apart, I'm going to flip them like that. So, if you had yours one stacked on top of the other, probably rotate them so it's easier to tell. This right one that I switched to being on the right controls the right gun, and this one controls the left. Now, this is actually supposed to be 0.15. This one is supposed to last for 0.5, and it has a pause of 0.3. So, okay. Then for the other one, you want the same thing except without that delay. And it's only messed up because of the logic change in the one update. I think it was Mecha Muck, which actually kind of broke a few things, but yeah, it's fine now. So yeah, these are going to be bound in their positive. So the positive binding for this is going to be R1, and that is going to give you your standard fire mode. So yeah, that is only so you can fire in the standard mode. Then you, on these ones, you're going to want to link the actual control up to L1 fire. So that way you can fire without overheating, or give a burst fire that will eventually overheat your guns. So yeah, that's how that works. Just in case you were curious. I'll show you it one more time, just in case you didn't see it. So, 0.15, 0.05, 0.3. Do each of those like that. Then for the right-hand side one, 0, 0.05, 0.3. Hopefully that makes sense, because I'm not good at tutorials. And then for the shields, oh yeah, make sure they're facing the correct way and line up with each other when you have them placed in. Hopefully you place them the right way. I forgot to mention the orientation that they were in. Then, oh, right, so the actual yaw things. So if you want a stiffer, like, yaw, this is how I did it. So this one is strength 10 with no controls, and this one does the same thing, but it has a higher strength of 6, and it actually has controls. This will make it so it doesn't have floaty controls and actually controls more stiffly. So if you want a more stiff controlling spacecraft, then you'll do that. Then with this gyro here, it is the same thing, but for the roll, which for the roll it is actually important, because I feel like you want it to be very receptive and do what you want rather than floating about. So here we have a strength of 10, then wherever the regular roll is down here, it has strength of 9.5, and it is set up like that. So yeah, that is how that works. Hope that made sense. And then you can do the same for the pitch, but you don't have to. You can figure it out on your own. So let me just save that, just because I made it a habit of just randomly saving, even though it already is saved in its current format. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to cover? I suppose we can go over the cockpit stuff. So it averages at around like 580, or you can put the speedometer to like 585. That's where I estimated its top speed at. Then this XOR doesn't do anything, so you don't need any controls there. The altitude sensor is set to whatever because it doesn't really do anything. And the gravity sensor is just like that. It does nothing. Anyway, actually, I should go over how I did the front of the cockpit. So, I'll run you through that. This is just a circle. Many people don't know this. Then to the side of this is just a little striped dashed line, and that is solid gray, and that goes from the middle out to the sides. Then up here is actually a very enlarged arrow thing, rotated 270 degrees. Then you'll just mirror that to the bottom once you're done with it. And I made it so that it like kind of goes down to a point. I kind of wish I feel like I should give it more. Oh no, I broke it. Let's see if we can fix this. So let's say if you wanted it to be a bit more tilted. Actually, I'm not sure if you can do that even. Yeah, no, it seems pretty fixed actually. Oh, also make sure whenever you finish putting on this decal, if you do it like how I did it, make sure you get rid of these little, or there's going to be gray bits on the inside of that, so make sure you get rid of those. Just so all you have to do is like line that up and just make sure it's nice and straight. So yeah, then when you're done with that, all you do is you take that. I'll just do the example in reverse because I messed it up. Then you do that, then you flop it over. Oh wait, right, no, you have to line it up anyway, I guess. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. My bad. Anyway, yeah, that just about does it for the final stage of the tutorial. And now that you have finished your Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, you can now terrorize the space pirates. Sorry, you can, play laser tag with the space pirates. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one, where I think I might do a tutorial for my A-Wing. We'll see, because that one is a very finicky build, and, yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Jeez, my throat is parched.